we at Metabase just released something I think is super exciting, Data Studio. So we kept hearing from teams that as your Metabase grows, it gets harder to manage all the stuff in it, even to answer basic questions like, which one of these 200 tables should I be using? Or why is this chart broken? Or where did this number even come from? So we built Data Studio as an answer to this. It's a set of tools to manage your data platform inside Metabase. There are a couple of pieces to Data Studio, and let me give you a quick overview of each one. Let's start with transforms. The gist is, you write SQL or Python code that transforms your raw data, for example, cleans up some columns, joins another table, and Metabase will write the results of this query back to your database as a new table. For example, if I run this transform, it'll create an actual new table with the transform data that I can use, for example, in the query builder as any old table. And I can tell Metabase to do this on a schedule. So every day at midnight, pull the source, transform it, and write the results to a table. And of course, I can continue building on these transform tables, like using them in further transformations. So that means that your entire data transformation pipeline can now live right in Metabase instead of having these transformations scattered across various ingestion modeling tools and random scripts. And yes, you heard it right, you can now use Python right in Metabase to do these data transformations. In data structure, you can see all your tables, including the ones created by transforms, and you can prep those tables for people to use. You can set owners, visibility, and column metadata like formatting. What's really exciting, though, is segments and measures. Segments are saved filters. Think about it. When you say active users, does everyone in your org actually know what that means? What's active? What counts as a user? You can codify the definition as a segment on the table. Similarly, measures are saved aggregations. You can define how you calculate revenue or lifetime value, and these become the official definitions that people can use instead of everyone writing their own versions or asking the data team. People see these definitions in the query builder when asking questions on this table, segments as filter options, and measures as aggregations. Once you transform the tables and you prep them for people to use, maybe define segments and measures, it's time to let people know that this is the data that they should be using. And that's what the library is for. You can publish your clean tables to the library, as well as metrics and SQL snippets if you want, to create a set of curated, high-trust content. The tables and metrics in the library will be surfaced in navigation and search, and when people create questions, library tables and metrics show up first, like this table that I transformed before. So instead of scrolling through 200 raw tables wondering which one should you be using, people can see the official, high-trust, clean tables that you've chosen to publish. And you can version control your library with git sync. And here's the key part. Because all your data transformations can be in Metabase, and your questions are in Metabase, we can show you the complete picture of all dependencies in your data. That's what dependency graph is about. I can pick a dashboard and track where each number on this dashboard is coming from, which question, which segment, which measure, table is involved, and which transformations were used to create those tables. So you can see the complete lineage, including transforms, and track and verify where each piece of the data comes from. And the other way around works too. You can see which entities depend on any particular data source. So, for example, if I may need to make any changes to a table, I know exactly what will be affected by those changes. And if something breaks, it'll show up in dependency diagnostics. Maybe a column got renamed and now the query doesn't work. Here you can see what's broken, what the error is, and which questions need to be fixed. So that's the idea. You can have everything in Metabase, your transforms, definitions, segments and measures, and also your questions and charts, which means you can see the full lineage of your data, verify and track what's going on every step of the way, and publish the content you trust for other people to use.